Welcome to Shar's World, Life Unfiltered. I'm your host, Shar, bringing you real life stories, juicy dilemmas, and all the unscripted thoughts that come through navigating this crazy thing called life. Each episode, we dive into the ups and downs and sideways twists that makes life so wild. And today, we are diving into the rabbit hole of Reddit. If you ever find yourself scrolling through "Am I the asshole?" or relationship advice threads, wondering what you do in those situations, this is the episode for you. So buckle up, get comfy, grab your snacks, and let's step into the world of unfiltered dilemmas. So, in this first segment, it's going to be "Am I the asshole?" And I absolutely love these type of stories because it's so juicy. This is where people post their messiest moral dilemmas and ask for judgment from the internet. A bit risky, but also juicy. So let's see if we agree with what the Reddit jury have to say. Spoiler alert, some of these stories might leave you wondering, what were they even thinking? Why the arsehole for not covering my friend's birthday bill at a fancy restaurant? Let's get into it. One of my close friends, Sarah, recently celebrated her birthday. She sent an invite to a group of us saying she wanted to have dinner at her favorite restaurant to celebrate. I was excited because Sarah and I have been friends for years and I always tried to make her birthday special. When we arrived, it turned out the favorite restaurant was an upscale place I'd never been to before. The menu was shockingly expensive, like £50 for a basic entree expensive. I'm currently on a tight budget, so I ordered the cheapest dish and water, thinking I'd just focus on enjoying the company. At the end of the night, Sarah announced, "Since it's my birthday, I'm assuming you all don't mind splitting my bill." I was taken aback because she hadn't mentioned this beforehand, and her bill was more than $150. Everyone else awkwardly agreed, but I quietly told her I couldn't afford to chip in and that I hadn't planned for this expense. Sarah was visibly upset and said I was ruining her birthday by being stingy. Some of her friends sided with her, saying it's customary to treat the birthday person. I left feeling humiliated and wondering if I was in the wrong. Am I the arsehole? Well, before we have a look at what the Reddit jurors had to say. So, based on this scenario, I actually don't think the friend is in the wrong. Sarah is the one who picked the restaurant. It's Sarah's birthday. Sarah claimed to be her favorite restaurant, but not but she isn't thinking that people may be on a budget, and the fact that her favorite restaurant happens to be very upscale, so like very posh, yada yada yada. It's very shocking, and then for her to call out you for being such a good friend and saying that you're ruining her birthday by basically saying that you're being stingy is very far fetched. Because if one of my friends called me stingy, they're no longer my friend. Because I didn't ask for you to pick an expensive restaurant. You picked it, you booked it, you pay for your own meal. I'm not splitting it with you. And if you don't think I'm a friend, then that's your business. We can just, you know what I mean? Like, just call it quits. I'm just very surprised, and that some of her friends actually sided with her. Then you're all just mugs, really, to be honest, because that's not happening. When I picked the cheapest meal and your food comes to $150, I'd rather stay at home than have a McDonald's. Let's have a look at what the Reddit jury had to say. So, one comment: if friends, in bold writing, decided to organize a birthday meal for someone, then they may well agree to split the guest of honor's meal, but then they also choose a restaurant they can all afford. This is not the case here. You don't invite people to celebrate your birthday somewhere expensive and hit them with your bill. That's absurd. It's basically what I said in a nutshell. Because it's so true. Let's have a look. Don't really have any replies. Let's see. Okay, someone feels just a little too entitled. People can't expect others to pay for them like this. Then a response. It's unfair to expect someone to cover a big bill without notice. That's just entitled behaviour and it shouldn't be encouraged no matter who the person is. Let's clap. Look at the fingers. Very, very true. That's an entitled person. That's a spoiled brat who is only there for themselves and doesn't care about anyone else's financial situations. I don't care if it's your birthday, you pick it, you pick the food that you want, you're gonna pay for it. It's as simple as that. Let's have a look. This happened to someone else. So someone has commented when we're paying two people in the group insisted she shouldn't pay as the guest of honor. My friend insisted on paying her own, and those two insisted on all of us paying for her. I just popped down my 20 and said that's all I had on me. A few people grumbled that they had to pay more, but what could I do? I feel like this is like an American thing. Guest of honor. No one's getting married here. Like if I'm choosing a restaurant, like perfect example. Last month was my birthday and I was organizing like at first I wanted a bottomless brunch plus an activity. So I was looking at all these different bottomless brunches, looking at the prices, and then I was sending them to my boyfriend to send to his brothers so that they could send it to their girlfriends and see what everyone thought, seeing about the pricing. And most of it was like, oh, it's like too expensive. So I spent a good week or two, um, basically looking at different prices and trying to find a suitable price range. And in the end, we managed to come down to doing Mr. McGilligan's in Birmingham, UK. And then we had like a meal at Slug and Lettuce, which was actually just, it was boiled. But I reserved the Slug and Lettuce, so I had to pay a reservation. And then we all just ordered food on our phone. So everyone just paid for themselves. Like, there's no way you're inviting me out to your birthday and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, okay, I'm going to get this. And then you have the nerve to be like, all right, guys, we're splitting the bill. It's my bill. I'll be like, excuse me, waiter, I'll just pay for my own bit. Thank you very much. I'm not paying for someone else. I'm paying for myself and myself only. So Sarah is some entitled princess, in my opinion. Let's have another look at what other people had to say. The Reddit jury. Let's have a look. See. She invited you, planned it, and chose an expensive restaurant. If anything, I would have assumed she'd be paying for herself or everyone rather than rudely asking you all to pay for her. You don't invite someone to eat and expect them to pay for even themselves, let alone you. That's insane. If I ask you to go out to eat with me, I'm paying the bill unless I specify otherwise in my invitation. Oh, the jury has spoken. Sarah is terrible and you, my friend, have done nothing wrong. And I'm sure people would actually assume that. So, you know. So, moving on from Am I the arsehole? So now that we've judged an the arsehole situation, it's time to take it up a notch. Relationships. They can be beautiful, complicated, and sometimes downright disastrous. Can't speak. Let's move on to some of Reddit's most cringe-worthy relationship advice threads. This is gonna be juicy. So, relationships are challenging enough without Reddit level drama. In this next segment, we're going through relationship dilemmas people have brought to Reddit for advice. Why are people doing this? Some of these stories might get messy, but trust me, you'll want to hear these. So, relationship advice. This one was posted 2 hours ago. Title: My girlfriend, 24, a female, broke up with me, 26, male, for my own good. Should I keep trying to fix things or accept it? Just a disclaimer, this is a long one. My girlfriend, 24, female, broke up with me, 26, male, for my own good. Hi everyone, I believe this is my first time posting anything ever. Not sure what to expect. I'd like to hear some different perspectives on the situation. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 5 months, but we had been friends for 2 years before that. She is a really nice person and had smitten me almost from the start, and I was so happy when we started dating. But what's important to the story is that she has a really awful relationship with her mother and has really deep self-esteem issues to the point that I was the first person who she let get so close to her and her first boyfriend. She always talked about how life sucks, how she never felt happy, how she's destined to be alone, and that's the way she likes it, etc. But she took a risk on me. Fast forward 5 months, and the relationship is lovely. She makes me happy like no one else ever did, and it was obvious that she enjoyed it too. We had some small fights, mostly about communication issues, but we resolved them. And then a few days ago, while we were in a restaurant, we had a stupid fight, in brackets, that I instigated, about spending New Year's together. I was telling her a few ideas for it, and she was shutting them down and didn't show any interest. And that hurt me, but didn't want to talk about it, and she kept pressing me. I only told her after we left, and she got mad that I didn't tell her right away. She didn't want to talk the whole day after, and I texted her because I felt awful. I wanted to fix things. From there, the fight escalated because she continued. From there, the fight escalated because she continued not wanting to talk, and I pushed her to. I wish I never said anything about the New Year's. It's such a stupid reason for a fight. But I don't believe that it's something a relationship should fall apart for. 2 days after, she broke up with me, saying that she had thrown up from the stress of the fight and how it is all too much for her, how she didn't feel it anymore, and finally how I deserve someone better, how she is emotionally unavailable, etc., etc. That would all be fine and well if she hadn't recommended we finally go public with our relationship just a few days before the fight. I think the fight triggered something in her and that she is retreating to her comfort zone, that is being alone. I know she loves me, I know she was happy. She is not the kind of person who would lie about these kind of things. I try telling her how much she means to me, that we shouldn't give up on such a beautiful relationship, and that we can work on any problems we have. But all she says is how she's destined to be alone, how she doesn't want anyone to suffer by being with her. I am devastated and feeling helpless. I don't know if I should give her some time and space or keep trying to get through to her, or if I should just accept the end of a relationship with, frankly, the person I think is the love of my life and my best friend. Anyway, sorry for the long text, and I hope I wrote everything clearly. Thank you in advance. So, based on that scenario, my personal opinion, it seems like it's saying, you're not the problem, I'm the problem. It's not you, it's me. That's what it's kind of like given because who has an argument about New Year's? That's like such a silly thing to even argue about. And then the fact that she keeps reinforcing that she deserves to be lonely, we're doing everything for her. It's a bit, I don't even know how to describe what it is, but it's just a bit weird to me, in all honesty, because you're giving her everything. She's opened up to you, and then you have a little tiff about New Year's. In my opinion, it sounds like she may have already found someone, so she's finding every reason to argue with you, broke up with you for your own good. It's definitely a case of it's not you, it's me scenario. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. Based on what you have said, let me have a quick scan. Let's have a look. No, don't feel devastated or helpless. Everything happens for a reason, and there's obviously a reason why you two aren't together. You aren't the reason, in my opinion. And the fact that I just can't get over the fact there was an argument about New Year's Eve. It's very crazy to me. But let's see what our lovely Reddit jurors had to say. This is just a slightly different twist on it. It's not you, it's me. A breakup excuse. I said that. I said that. So her real reasons for ending this relationship are as yet unknown to you. Maybe it was just boredom, maybe there's someone else she's interested in. You'll probably never know, but what is clear is that she no longer wants to be with you. To be honest, when things are so petty that you're arguing over New Year's Eve plans, it wasn't meant to be anyhow. Exactly what I said. I'm always wary of that. It's not you, it's me breakups. That in if she was that into you, she wouldn't jump on the first fight to dump you, in my opinion. However, all you can do at the moment is give her some space and see how it goes. Give her space. Don't go back to her is what I say. There is a possibility she preferred your relationship when you guys were just friends. But to see where this is going, she needs some space, in my opinion. Tell her you understand and you'll take a step back to give her time to be comfortable again and that you're not closing the door to her. And then someone replied, yeah, I know how it sounds, a classic breakup excuse, but I truly believe that she's being honest and is having a tough time mentally. I agree with completely giving her space, understanding, and being there for her as a friend seems like the best choice right now. Okay. There wasn't many comments on this one. Seems like a mixed review. What do you guys think based alone on that scenario? What do you think is the tea? Because I agree with what other people are saying in terms of it's more like the case of it's not you, it's me scenario. But I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm leaving it down to you guys to decide. Okay, bear with. Okay, so we've had some relationship disasters. Now let's take things to the workplace. Drama at work can be so tricky to navigate, but it's also super relatable. Let's see what wild situations Reddit users have found themselves in at their job. So, from nightmare bosses to clueless co-workers, Reddit's workplace advice and tales from the office threads are packed with unbelievable stories. You think you've had a bad day at work? Just wait until you hear what these people went through. Number one, titled Co-worker acting like they're the boss. I was wondering, oh, I was wondering if I could have some feedback on this. I have a colleague who talks to all of the people in the same role as him as if he's the boss. Oh, you're doing such a good job. I'm so proud of you. He also sends Slack messages to us when there's something in the queue. did you see this? Hopefully someone gets on it soon. Recently, he's been on a kick where he evaluates the work done by other teams, even though that's not his role at all, and calls his work to get backed up by setting off a flurry of emails and instant messages. Personally, I consider it to be incredibly pushy and uncomfortable. A few people have said, wow, he's not from the United States and he means well. He moved here in the 80s, so I have a hard time believing he doesn't know that kind of behavior isn't acceptable. I'm calling it what it is. He's micromanaging and trying to prove he can manage so he can get promoted down the road. I'm thinking that if he pulls the someone needs to work on this thing again, I'm going to say, hey man, busy and in the middle of something else. We've had this sort of conversation a few times before, and we both share the same manager who allocates work. If I'm getting work assigned to me, it needs to come from her. Can you tell me what you would say to him person to person if you were in my shoes? Thanks. Now, we've all been there. We all have a co-worker that thinks they know everything, not necessarily the boss, but they sort of like know it all. It can be quite jarring and it can be quite irritating because it's like you don't know and you shouldn't be telling me what to do, telling me information if you're not my manager. If it's not coming from my manager, then the information is completely irrelevant. Some people are just super, super helpful. So it may come across as micromanaging, but maybe he's just being like really helpful and he's not from the States. I'm just gonna assume this person is British, but it's not from the States. And maybe he is looking to promote and maybe he's wanting to show his boss I'm willing to do this or I can do this sort of thing. Um Sometimes it can just come across as they know it all, but that's not really the case sort of thing because when I used to work in like retail, sometimes I do think to myself, do people think that she is the boss? I'm the boss of myself. No one can tell me what to do, and I'm not telling someone else what to do, especially if I'm not getting paid for that type of role. No, you good, thanks. Again, this one hasn't had many comments, and this was like, when was this posted? 9 months ago. Okay, so not much feedback. I'm assuming there would have been more, but let's have a look at the responses. Sounds like the perfect response to me. And then the person replied who posted this, then thanks. I struggle with workplace confrontation a lot because I can be a huge hothead. Amen. Same here. And I've definitely said some things that are too harsh when I'm hot-headed. Additionally, I also got fired a few times when I was younger because I rubbed people the wrong way with the words I've chosen. Not me, Star. No, no, no. I do try very hard to be better at understanding social cues though, and being diplomatic to avoid screwing up again. It doesn't come easy to me, so having input from someone else means a lot. Thanks for your help. And then I think this person replied, as long as you say these words without any anger or sarcasm or any form of malice, you should be good. If he wants the supervisor to complain, just tell that supervisor the same thing. You're busy with another task that you're assigned to do. And then just another random one was like, John, you're not my boss. It was just, to me, just kind of shows that maybe this person was actually British, like the man. Let's see if I can find Tails. Tails from the office. Let's find another juicy one. So I found a Tales from the Office story. Title is People Are So Damn Trashy. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 paragraphs, mini sentences. So let's get into it. This client called in screaming that his account was shut off. Lots of cussing, F this, F that, blah blah blah. Didn't have an account number or an address available. Eventually, I got him figured out, and turns out he hadn't paid his bill and was 2 to 3 weeks late, but eventually got some of it to us. Proudly claimed he got my number by cussing the local store out. I informed him that we received a payment and there's nothing wrong with his account and that it was never shut off, just that he was at his credit limit. He then demands I raise his limit, which is not my department, and when I offer to transfer him where he needs to go, demands my name, I told him twice, and threatened to close his account and tell my boss it was my fault. We're a Fortune 500 company. I handle quite a bit of in and out every day, and I understand intimately running up hard on a credit limit, but not how you handle it, chief. Oh well, got him transferred and had an eye rolling chuckle about it. What's some of the weirdest flexes you guys have dealt with in the old cubicle farm? Well, I actually currently work in retail and I've had a very similar situation. Um, so in all honesty, this guy handled it quite well because my scenario was um apparently we didn't want to help him. This customer is really, really abusive. Um, the previous agent before me actually um ended the call but didn't leave any notes to say abusive. Otherwise, I'd have never taken the call. He was just like really horrible, and based on my accent, he actually he actually couldn't figure me out. He was like, "All you white people are the same." And I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm black, but okay, we move on. You don't want to help me, just going on and on and on. And then he was like, if you was working for me, you'd be fired. And I was like, but I'm not working for you. And he was like, I hope your manager listens to this. I hope you get the sack. So thinking, am I just gonna listen to this and think, why on earth did she even sit down to take this idiot? But we move on. And then he was effing and jeffing, and I said to him, I was like, you're being rude for no reason. No one else has actually sat and spoke to you. And I'm taking my time out of my day. It was like 8:30 in the morning to listen, and you're not listening. And at this point, I think I didn't know. I don't think I knew I was pregnant at this point. And knew he was going to be difficult when I asked a few like data protection questions because it was like, this is my high school and this is my hospital, and I was just okay. And then it just ended up him calling me the B word, and then I ended the call, pushed my chair back, slammed my keyboard up against my computer desk, stormed off, almost punched the wall, and then it just walked off and sat in a room to cool down. And then the manager at the time that was on site was like, "We don't get paid to speak like that." So you, my friend, did very well in that situation because I would have just disconnected the call. I'm not giving them no. They get one warning once, and then if you're being rude again, you're just getting disconnected. Let's see what some of the people from Reddit had to say. This one's quite good. This one's a long one though. When I worked in a call center, we would never get our managers and supervisors to take escalation calls. So a group of us got together, demonstrated the need, and had a support desk built. We would help newer agents with questions about how to process reservations and how to use the computer. If someone had a problem or was yelling at them, we would take over the call so they could keep working. After I was in that role for 3 years, I was promoted to a higher level. If a call needed to be escalated to a manager level, it came to me. None of us had any supervisor or manager titles in the real world, but we did on the phone. We also didn't have the pay that reflected these positions. One day, I was standing at the desk of the 10 so-called next level supervisors. An agent was being yelled at to the point she started to cry. We had Kim transfer the call to uh, the call to Jason. The customer did the inevitable. Do you know who I am routine without missing a beat? Jason replied, Yes, I do. You're the person who made Kim cry. After a few minutes, Jason waved me over and said this call was going to me. So I went to my desk and sat down. Put the put the call on the speaker because it was damn entertaining. A small crowd gathered around listening to how I was handling the call. I didn't mind if we did this often for training. When the caller said, who I am, I was like, yes, I do. You're the person who made him cry, and Jason is very upset. Now, how can I help you? I had to hit the mute button very fast because of the sudden roar of laughter and approval from my co-workers. I knocked him down a peg. He said he was never going to use this again. He wanted to talk to somebody who could really help him. So I transferred into our biggest competitor. They could have him. That's actually funny. Was there any more responses to this one? I work in a cubicle during the day and at a bar as a bouncer at night. My favourite look is when they inevitably pour taking money elsewhere and I respond with directions to another bar. So in all honesty, customers are just annoying and rude and feel like they're very entitled. And I hate entitled customers, especially as soon as they're going through the phone. You just want to get what you need to say out. It's like, can I stop you there? I just want to tell you what the situation is. Um, yeah, you can stop me there, but I need to know first of all if I'm going to be the one to help you or not. Do you know what I mean? And I just hate people who are entitled if or feel like they should be entitled. So what would, okay, so that moves us swiftly on the Reddit episode. So now it's time to switch things up a bit. Got a couple of what would you do scenarios that listeners sent in. In this instance, uh, it's not listeners. I'm just taking these scenarios, but you are the listeners. But I'm just taking. So let's dive into these real life situations and think about what advice we would give if we were in their shoes. Um, so in this final segment, what I'm going to do is answer some of the Reddit submitted dilemmas in a rapid fire. 1 second. Okay, so this. So, um, okay, so if you didn't have to work, what would you actually do? If I didn't have to work, I would on a daily basis be crafting. So I would actually do that on a daily basis alongside this podcast. Um, do question from a previous pod that I watched along the lines of if time and exhaustion wasn't a thing, um, what what is something that you would like to do? So this sounds I did and it sounds absolutely wild. Uh, I should have actually wrote it down, but I would actually like to learn construction, carpentry, be like a girl carpenter. So that's the type of things I would like to do. If time and exhaustion like wasn't a thing. And then another thing I'd like to do is like really hone in and really focus on myself and my self confidence thing as well. Walk the other way, obviously. Boss assigned more pay and I won't be doing a I would, what? I think all these things I'd do if I was invisible and see what sort of thing. I think that's what I would do. Um, so that's it for today's What Would You Do? I'd love to get listeners to actually submit some questions, some games, any comments, like in the comment section. Um, so let's wrap up this episode of the relationship advice. Just go with your guts. Work advice, go with your guts. Everything's just follow your gut and instinct, literally. Um, all I can say, guys, is thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Shar's World Life Unfiltered. I hope you enjoyed our little adventure into Reddit dilemmas. Um, if you actually enjoyed this type of episode, please let me know. I'll be happy to do some more again. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Much appreciated. Whatever you're gonna rate in the review, do your chest. And hey, if you have a wild story or dilemma or just need some unfiltered advice, reach out to me on social media or send an email.